Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. So today I need to make a centerpiece for a table. It's going to be in Christmas colors and I'm going to add candles. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm starting out with a wooden box. This is just a long, low wooden box. I believe we ordered it from our wholesaler. Now this table that this arrangement's going to be placed on is a 10-seater table. So they wanted it long and pretty and showy, so that's what we're going to do. I have taken a little bit of foil paper. So this liner is just foil paper that I rolled off. I laid into my container to make it watertight. And then I kind of just tucked my foil down into the container so you couldn't see it. And then I have 2 blocks of fresh floral foam. Both of them have been soaked and they've been tucked right down into this box. I am not going to tape the box because you can see not very much foam is showing out of the top of the box. Therefore, it's not going to fall apart. You're not going to have any issues with any of the flowers falling out. So next what I'm going to do is, because my customer asked for candles, I'm going to add a couple of candles. So I'm just going to press those right down into the floral foam, just as if they were flowers. So I'm just going to take those and press them down into that foam. There should be no problems with those moving or getting bumped or anything like that. They should stay pretty well. And now there are contraptions that you can use that will hold those candles into place. Quite honestly, this works perfectly. Now I like to add those first, and the reason is that then I can work around them. If I start sticking stems into this floral foam and then add my candles are probably not going to stay in place. Now, if you have the little contraptions that put the little feet on the bottom of the candles. So what it is it's a little candle holder. You stick that candle right down in, and then it has some little picks down at the bottom that just sticks right down into the foam. It works wonderfully. It is a great thing. It really works well with artificial flowers and artificial foam because you can glue it right down in. You have no problems. You can change out that candle, all the things. But with fresh flowers, I find this works just as well. Next, what I'm going to do is start adding my greenery. So I'm going to grab it over here on the table. I have some really pretty cedar that I went out and harvested. And then I also have some eucalyptus that we're going to add. Got some pretty seeded eucalyptus that we're going to add. So we'll start out with our cedar. I'm trying to throw everything on the floor today, which is so me. So I am actually going to take a pair of scissors to cut this cedar. And the reason is because it's got a really woody stem, and I always find it's very hard to cut with my floral knife. So I'm just cutting those stems and tucking it right into the floral foam. And I'm just going to fill it in just like I do all of my arrangements. I'm just going to do it with this Christmas greens or evergreens. Now when you're working with a container, you can always add length with your greenery and your flowers. Your container does not really have to be this large to make a large enough arrangement for your table. I just really liked this wooden box, so that's the reason I chose to use the wooden box. But you can really use anything you'd like. And you always need to keep in mind the amount of money that you have. Like if you're doing this for a client or a customer, you always need to keep in mind how much money you have. Therefore, that dictates the container also. That helps you to choose the right container for the right amount of money they want to spend. And tucking it right into this floral foam. So you'll just fill it up, get it as full and pretty as you'd like. Now I like to go out and harvest greenery because I feel like I can give my customer more for their money when I go out and cut it versus if I have to pay for it. So I am going to add some pretty eucalyptus on top. I've got some pine cones and beautiful flowers, but if I can use a less expensive greenery to fill in with, then I feel like I can give them more flowers. I've just about got enough of this. You can always go back and add more greenery. So don't feel like it has to be perfect. You can always add more. So I have enough cedar, I think. So I'm going to set this to the side. If I need more, I still have plenty on these two stems. Clean up my table a little bit. Okay, next I'm going to come in with a little bit of seeded eucalyptus. Now, seeded eucalyptus is just so pretty. It's got lots of color in these berries. It has a little hint of maroon or red, which pulls our candles beautifully. So I'm going to take this seeded eucalyptus and I am going to pop off small pieces and tuck it right into my foam. I love the texture, how the seeded eucalyptus gives it so much texture. It's just really pretty, I think. But you can kind of mix and match your greenery. If you are making this arrangement for your home, I know my Nandina is still very pretty that grows in the yard. You can cut really any foliages that will hold up in water. Cut those and add them to your arrangement. Go cut you some pine if you have pine anywhere close. Magnolia would also be beautiful in this arrangement. Be sure that if it's in the neighbor's yard that you go knock on the neighbor's door and ask if you can cut a few stems of their greenery. I have never had a neighbor mind that at all. I have knocked on many neighbors' doors and asked if they minded if I could cut some of their greenery, and they've always been so kind to let me do that. Okay, so here is our box filled with our greenery. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set this greenery to the side. Next what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my pine cones. Now the reason I'm choosing to add my pine cones next is because they're big and I can work around those. So I'm going to take my pine cones. Let me show you a trick. So these pine cones I also picked up out of the neighbor's yard. She was very thankful that I picked those up because then the yard boys didn't have to pick it up. I'm going to take a long piece of florist wire, and these are called the scale of a pine cone, the scales of a pine cone. I'm going to take those and tuck that wire right between those scales, and I'm going to twist that wire. So what I've done is I've basically added a stem to my pine cone. So next what I'm going to do is use a wood pick, and I'm going to take that wire, wrap it right around that pick, and then wrap the wire that comes on the pick around it. And then I am going to pick that pine cone right down into that floral foam. Okay? Now that's going to keep it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to take my next pine cone and do exactly the same thing. Tuck that wire right into those scales, twist it so it has a stem, add a wood pick, tuck that right down into that floral foam. But see how nice these fill up and it looks so natural and pretty? I really actually love the brown of the pine cone, and then the wood of the box looks very nice together. Okay, next we're going to add flowers to our arrangement. So we've got our pine cones tucked in their place. And we are going to take, I'm going to start out with my lilies because my lily is my largest flower. I have this one really open lily. And then I have some that are tight, but they're going to open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my floral knife. I'm going to cut that lily right off of the stem. And I am going to tuck it right into that floral foam, okay? Just tuck it right down in there. Next, I'm going to take the buds that are left on that stem. And I'm going to tuck those right into the arrangement. Now, like I said, I only have one large open lily, and that's completely okay because these other lilies should open up. Like this bud here will open, and this one here will open. So I'm going to just take my floral knife and cut those buds off and tuck those right in. Now, I love a small bud. I love that it gives it a little texture and it's a little different, and I just like it. It just makes me happy. Okay, so there's our lilies in place. Next, I'm going to come in with my stock. So I have pretty white stock and a little more greenery there. I can get them loose. Let's see. So I have some really pretty white stock. I'm going to lay that greenery right over there. I'm going to take my floral knife. I'm going to remove this greenery here. Just strip that right off with my hand. I'm going to take that floral knife. I like to use stock to kind of lengthen my arrangement. So I'm going to take it and tuck it down kind of at the ends to kind of lengthen this arrangement. And then I am going to take the other pieces and just kind of nestle them right down in to give us that pretty white. Strip that greenery, cut it short, and just nestle it right down into that arrangement. And it smells so pretty. The stock smells so nice. Okay, so there's our white stock. Next, I have pretty red astros. Now, my astros are a little tight also, but you are seeing pretty red color. So I'm going to take and strip that foliage off the stem. I'm going to cut that lily, that Alstroemeria lily, short, and I'm just going to nestle it right down into that container. So really all we're doing is filling up the container. Look at how many blooms are on this one stem. Like I said, I know that they are tight, but it gives our arrangement a longer lifetime, a longer lifespan, because we're going to see things open, you know, slowly open, which I think is nice. I think it's really nice to be able to have those flowers open, you know, over time. Okay, so I nestled those astros, those red astros, into our arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with some pretty red freedom roses. Now, our red freedoms, I'm going to cut. I'm not going to wire these roses. Now, most of the time, you will see me wire roses to tuck into arrangements. When I'm doing a centerpiece like this that's going to be low and compact, I'm not worried about their little heads. They don't have a whole lot of stem to drink the water through, so it's usually no problem at all. All right, so I have my roses, my lilies, my stock, my astros, all of our pretty greenery, our nice pretty candles. Lastly, we are going to add some of these. These are called cushion mums, but I love the way they kind of look like a snowflake. So we're gonna take these, and I'm going to use my floral knife. Now I'm gonna use them individually. So I'm gonna use individual stems, and I am just going to fill in this arrangement. Now, one thing that our client asked was that we add a little bit of ribbon to this arrangement, so we're going to do just that. I found a ribbon that has a little bit of a red and a little bit of burgundy and a little bit of kind of an ivory color, and I thought that it would be perfect with this arrangement because our roses are a bright red, but our candles are kind of a burgundy. So to draw those together. I am going to add a little bit of that ribbon. So I'm just taking and individually cutting off a single flower and tucking it right in here and there. I'm going to do one more stem of those cushion mums. Now, because we put this liner in this container, we will have no problems whatsoever with this container holding water. So before we deliver, we will add a little water to the reservoir, and then I'm going to put a small care tag on this arrangement that says, please add water daily. Now we do that because a lot of times when an arrangement is in a container like this, you don't see the water line, therefore you forget to water it. So we're going to add a little care tag that says, please remember to water. And that's going to help the arrangement stay fresher longer. So here is the ribbon that I chose, and I don't know if you can see the colors very well. It has a little bit of burgundy and a little bit of red and a little bit of ivory. And I thought it would be perfect to draw my colors together. So I'm just going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to make a couple of loops, leaving my streamers long. I'm going to cut those streamers. And so you can kind of see, there's my little bow. I'm going to take my wood pick, and our wood pick has a little wire on it. It's hard to see in the video, but it has a little wire on it. I'm just going to use that wire to tie this bow. So I'm just going to take it and just wire that bow directly onto the wood pick. Okay, I'm going to do another one for this side, where I take and just make a couple of loops. I didn't want to overpower the arrangement with a big bow, so that's the reason I only did just a couple of loops. So just like that, really simple. Grab another wood pick. Take it. I'm just using that wire and I'm just tying that little bow right to that pick. I'm going to take and nestle that ribbon right down into that arrangement. And there we have it, a pretty Christmas centerpiece with candles. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon. If you have any questions about how I put this arrangement together or any questions about the flower shop, please don't hesitate to ask. You can drop those questions right down below in the comments and we are happy to answer that. Thank you for being here. If you would, subscribe to our channel and be sure to hit that little bell so that you will be able to get notifications when we have a new video. Guys, you all have a great day and Merry Christmas. Darling,